welcome to Cognitions, Speaking the Unspeakable with JP and Stacy D. Whenever she's ready, D.
I can't hear anything.
If she'd have got here earlier.
Really? Hello? Can I hear anything? Okay. Really, JP? Really? Oh, are we going to really do this?
If you'd have got here earlier, the whole sound check could have been done.
Well, the sound check was going right, and I think it's a what's that called? Whatever it is.
The D having technical difficulties.
I'm having technical difficulties. My earphones, okay, they're on now. I can't move.
Okay.
All right.
Can you hear everything well now, D?
It's not super loud, but it's fine. But you don't have ear problems, so.
Oh, okay. Okay. Coming up on the show today, our question of the day is cheating about sex or is there more to it? What are the 6 types of cheating or cheaters? This is a show we've been talking about redoing this show. This is a episode that we did before that never aired because of some technical difficulties. And so we're going to redo that. But what I was thinking, D, since we're redoing it, we can make it a little more interesting by after we go over the 6 types. I've actually shortened it to 4, but we're going to do the 6 because some of them I merged them. But we should talk about which ones we have been a victim of and which ones we have been accused of.
I've been accused of a whole lot of stuff.
Which ones you were actually guilty of.
So it's 3 things. Okay, cool.
Mainly what you were guilty of. I said accused just to leave the door open.
To just leave the door open.
But if you...
But I believe if not everyone know that you're in a relationship, then how can you cheat if you really don't know that you're in a relationship?
Hold on, D. Wait till we get to it. D.
Oh, okay. Because, I go on ahead. I always be like 2 steps forward because I always have to stay ready.
You love to stay ready. Okay, so that's what we're going to do when we cover that topic. But before we get to that, what's your check-in, D? Stacy D.
I really don't have a check-in today. I'm just blessed by the Lord.
That you're feeling better and the doctor figured out what was wrong.
Okay. So you guys, I went to the doctor. What was that, 2 weeks ago? Two Thursdays ago, actually. And it was not the medicine. It was basically allergies. And
you've had some allergy issues, like...
Yeah, I shouldn't have allergies issues because I done got rotor-rooted. My whole sinus canal done got rotor-rooted, so I shouldn't even have any allergies with the copays.
Rotor-rooted?
Yeah.
You just gave
Look
a name
that up,
to
Mr.
that
Walker.
process. Mr. Walker, don't bother. You know, that's your phone going off?
Yeah, that's my phone
going
on.
Doing a live show?
Babe, I'm on the air.
Oh, my God. Tell me this isn't happening. Mr. Walker. Mr. Walker. You're going to have a talk with the D.
And my ringer's supposed to be off. Okay. Oh,
D,
wow.
you just answered your phone.
Yeah, that was special, though.
Oh, Lord. Those media people who watching us, they're like, nope, we're done with them. Okay. Here's my check-in. It's real brief.
No, let me finish doing my allergy thing.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, I got rotor-rooter. Mr. Walker, did you check that out? Because
that is not a term.
That's the research man. My sinus canals got rotor-rooted. So therefore, that's supposed to have cleared up all my sinuses. Don't do it, because evidently it was a waste of money. Because when I went to the doctor, I had 2 ear infections. He said he heard nothing but fluid all up here, and styes, which I'm thinking you guys some information if you don't know it. That comes from bacteria. That's from you rubbing your eyes because your sinuses and allergies is messing with you, and you rubbing your eyes because your eyes are itching and your hands are dirty.
Okay.
So I had 3 styes on this eye and 1 on this eye, and now I'm down to 1 sty on this eye.
those of us who do not have fingerprints from chronic hand washing
Wouldn't have that problem.
I'm still trying to get my fingerprints to come back.
They are dry too.
I still-
Everyone, his fingers are dry.
From chronic hand washing. The pandemic made it worse. Because
I
I did at least used to be able to open my phone when I had a thumbprint. But yeah, the prints are gone.
Wow. Okay, so let's do your check-in, JP.
Okay, remember I had talked about losing a book
You found it?
that was complete. I found the book.
Woo! You
Yeah.
got the book.
You know, I was sitting in the family room, minding my own business. And the Lord said to me,
The Lord was speaking to you.
oh, the Lord speaks to me. And so the Lord said, check one more time. That book is in the cloud somewhere.
Somewhere in the cloud.
And I checked, and there it was. I had checked the cloud.
Oh, he brought it
before.
back to you.
The Lord put the book in the cloud because I had checked the cloud. And then while I was in there, I was up till like 3 or 4 in the morning. I ended up.
That's usual.
Yeah. I ended up going through all these flash drives and found something else.
What'd you find?
Well, I've been working on a book called JP Asked and Answered. And it's just a reprinting of all these articles I wrote for 2 magazines. You know Lisa Webb? Okay. She had a magazine called
Did
Diesel. She had a magazine called Diesel Magazine. And I wrote articles for that magazine, and then I also wrote for the Kansas City Mental Health Examiner, and I couldn't find all of these articles. And so I was having to retype them, but then I found them. So yeah, I found the stuff. Now don't forget, D, we are supposed to bring in some excerpts from our books.
Oh,
to read
yeah.
on
Mine's
air.
is juicy.
Bring in some juicy, but not too juicy, because you want people to buy the book when it's done.
Yeah.
Because you still writing the book.
Trying to find the ending.
Right. Because juicy stuff keep happening.
Mm-hmm.
The
It's supposed to be an
juicy
ending
stuff.
about I married the love of my life. But, you know, that still might come out to be pretty good. And that might be the ending. Or we do. I can't talk too much because something might happen. I don't want them to take the radio show as evidence. So let's go.
Okay. Mental health and illness in the news. Okay. Psychology Today published an article called Is Casual Sex Emotionally Healthy? By Rich Savin Williams, Dr. Rich Savin Williams. Now, here's the problem with the article. They looked at they reviewed 70 research studies. And the article basically, and this is the thing about research, it's easy to manipulate.
Most definitely.
Half the study said casual sex is cool. Half of them said casual sex is not cool. So we're going to skip over that.
It all depends on who's writing the article.
It depends on,
And who likes it.
and how they interpret the
Exactly.
data. But here's some parts that are interesting. Under emotional responses to casual sex, what they said is on average, okay, emotional responses to casual sex experiences tended to be positive. But here's something to think about. People tended to have better emotional outcomes after casual sex based upon what their expectations are. So having reasonable expectations resulted in people being happier after having casual sex. And by expectations, what they're saying is, don't go into it thinking, okay, I'm going to find my future love of my life, my forever partner, because those are the people who walk away from casual sex disappointed. Be realistic.
Be realistic.
You just having fun.
I'm just having fun. So for the women, I advise you to get on top.
What, D? What are you saying right now?
What?
D, this is not that kind of show. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, no, I just go. I'm sorry. I apologize if I offended anyone. But we was trying to get them for you to get the most out of it.
Oh my goodness.
What?
Dang. Okay. She just gave you ladies some advice.
I just gave you some advice.
What they said is that
Speaking
people,
of unspeakable.
right, you just spoke some unspeakable. It was good advice. Okay. Now, what they said is people who had beliefs like, quote unquote, sex without love is okay. After having casual sex, those people were more content because they're not
Yes.
expecting to find
Nothing.
love. That makes sense. So having reasonable expectations may be crucial. Now, something else that came out is hoping a casual sex encounter will evolve into a romantic relationship can lead to disappointment and heartbreak. As I said before, don't go into casual sex thinking you're going to fall in love with somebody who, like, you don't really know him or her. They don't really know you. Y'all just, like, are screwing. Now, those familiar, this is interesting. Those who were familiar with their casual sex partners generally gave more positive evaluations than those who had encounters with strangers or one-time sex partners. The people who get on the internet, the people when we did the dating app experience and they just wanted to hook up with the D. Okay, it is good that you did not hook up with them because it has been shown that people who, if you want to get the most out of casual sex experiences, we're not encouraging this, by the way. We're discussing it for those who engage in casual sex. I'm not encouraging it. But
Okay.
for those of you who do, they have shown that people are happier when they know the partner. That's people who have like their friend
A
with
high
benefit.
school reunion.
Or I guess, but I think they're talking about friends with benefits,
Friends
where you
with
have the
benefits.
same person or couple of people that you have casual sex with on a regular
All
basis,
the
as
time.
opposed to those who engage in sex with strangers. Now, I'm sure that can be disputed because of the people I know who get on the internet and have casual sex with strangers, they report being very happy with that. And they like that it reduces the chances of feelings being developed by the other person because they're not going to be seeing them after that. And the thing about friends with benefits that sometimes gets complicated, they didn't cover any of this in this article. This is just based upon my, experiences as a therapist. When clients end up struggling with that, what they have said is their issue is the other person, the friend with benefits, began to develop feelings.
And that's the problem.
I have seen women in therapy who only date married men because...
And I don't like them.
You would not like them. But they only date married men because they don't have to worry about being in a relationship with them.
But they do. And we'd be surprised. Sometimes men catch feelings a whole lot sooner than women.
Yes, but here's something that I have found. I remember one particular woman who told me she had to end it. And I said, well, why did you end it? And she said, because this fool started talking about leaving his wife to be with me. And what's the purpose of me? What's the point of me dating a married person if they going to leave and try to be with me? I don't want him like that. I wanted us to have casual sex, and I was having sex with him on an ongoing basis because I know him, I feel comfortable with him. But now the fool want to leave his wife, I had to cut it off. So there are women out there, and I know the women out there are like, oh my God, tell me this is not true. Yes,
it's true.
There are women out there who are looking for your husband. He does not have to hide his wedding ring.
Not at all.
His wedding ring is what they eat.
Turns
That's
them
what
on.
they're attracted to. Now, what you need to explain to your husband, because men oftentimes are not aware of this, sometimes they really do not want you. So you feeling like you need to leave your wife and 4-5 kids to go be with this woman, and she's like, fool, I could have dated somebody single if I wanted all of that.
I don't want all of that.
Because the women that I have seen who are in that position are usually already divorced. So they're like, look, I've done the whole marriage thing. It was awful, the divorce was
Even
more
more
awful.
worse.
You
Yes.
know, I'm talking women who post-divorce, they're like, my husband got half of my retirement fund.
That's why you have to do a prenup.
Yeah, back to the prenup. Because
Got
the
to be
D
a
is in
prenup.
favor of a prenup, as y'all know. The D is a fan of the prenup. But
I even have it on my computer, so anyone needs it, just reach out and I'll send you one.
there you go. And so in seeing like those professional women who make large incomes, divorce has oftentimes been a nightmare for them.
most
And
definitely.
afterwards, they still have sexual needs, but they're like, I don't want a fool who
And
wants to get married because I'm not doing it.
And they get tired of Bob.
What?
Bob.
What does that? I don't know what that means. Bob the freedom with
Battery
benefit?
operated boyfriend. I try to be nice.
I'm glad I asked that question. D, you crazy. Okay. Let me see. What else did they say in this article? Finally, and perhaps not surprisingly, alcohol use prior to an encounter was linked to a greater likelihood of regret and negative emotions. Now, this is interesting because there is a lot of intoxicated screwing that goes on.
I have
When
no
you-
idea about that.
Well, because the D does not drink.
Do not
or She does
indulge.
not indulge
At all.
in substances that are mind altering.
Mm-mm.
But I thought about college campuses and how much intoxicated
The STDs.
the land of STDs.
Mhm.
But basically, the point is, if you are a person who engages in casual sex, your chances for more happiness lie in you knowing the sexual partner, according to them. If you're willing to take a risk on a fool falling in love, or willing to take a risk on the woman falling in love, then you can know them. If you don't want all that, there's nothing wrong with the whole internet casual sex thing. They suggest being sober because if you're intoxicated, it increases the chances of you having regret. The regret from the intoxication, I believe, stems from people having sex with people that if they were sober, they wouldn't have had sex with.
Exactly.
That's why they're regretting it.
That's
Because
why
they
they be like,
wake
"Oh."
up. Yes, they wake up and look, oh, how the hell you get in here?
I think JP has dealt with that before because he knew exactly how to do it. Y'all see that? That's a JP moment. Because let me tell y'all about JP. JP kicks it. Well, I'm sorry. He used to kick it.
I used to kick it. I'm a happily married man now, but that's where the intoxication becomes a problem. And I oftentimes hear intoxication is a problem because sometimes people engage in some specific acts that they would not engage in when they were sober. So they wake up sore in places that they like, why the hell am I sore there? Because I don't do that. Or and this is what unfortunately happens on college campuses, is you have people who wake up like in a frat house and they don't know who
What happened?
had sex with
I
them.
think
And
they
that's
had a
rape.
roofie. Yeah, they had a roofie.
That is rape.
That's right. Yeah.
And so, but sometimes they start off drinking, somebody slips them something, and they wake up and they have no idea. And when pregnancies occur as a result of that, it's even worse because it's like, who could be the father of this child?
Oh, the daddy.
Right.
I'm that baby's pappy.
They usually don't have people signing up for that. Like, look, I'm your baby daddy. No, half the frat house. No. All right. So the other piece of mental health and illness in the news is today, Brittany Griner, that's the WNBA player who
Yes.
is detained in Russia.
Yes.
They sentenced her today to 9 years
What?
in a Russian prison for bringing that cannabis-infused vape cartridge into Russia. Now, her attorney plans to appeal. Her marijuana was prescribed for medicinal purposes, but cannabis is illegal in Russia for medicinal purposes or recreational purposes. They do not care in Russia. They like, if you think you're going to be high here, you got another thing coming.
You want to buy it in Russia. Do not bring it.
So the U.S. Has offered to exchange Griner and a Marine named Paul Whelan for some Russian prisoners. So basically Biden is like, okay, we'll give y'all some of y'all people back if y'all give us those two back. But Russia can be a little spiteful and vindictive. They hate America.
Hate.
And so it's possible, and they're kind of ruthless. They may be like, we didn't say we wanted them back. Y'all don't keep our people because we know you want these two people. So just to be spiteful and vindictive, they may be like, no, you keep who you got. We gonna keep who we have. And so that's unfortunate. I feel bad for her. I'm not a person who partakes in marijuana, but because it was medicinal and she had a script, I do feel bad for her.
It puts another spin on it.
It really does. Like, she wasn't just trying to get high. She has a script. But to our listeners out there, when you travel to other countries, please be well aware of their laws, and because it is extremely unfortunate if you break the law in another country. Anytime you go to another country, you have to be especially careful.
Yes, careful and cautious.
Yes,
most definitely.
You cannot
you see what they are doing to the WNBA. You're just a common folk.
Right.
You're gonna be there. You're gonna get 15 years. Biden's not gonna know nothing about it.
The maximum was 10, and they gave her like 9.5, and so they were determined, like, we're dropping everything on you. And they said she was in tears in the courtroom and pleaded with the judge, please do not ruin my life, because she was living there. You know, she's living and working there. So that is sad and unfortunate. Okay, so let's get to
the good stuff
of the day. Is cheating just about sex, or is there more to it? What are the 6 types of cheaters? And after we get through with this, the D is going to tell us what she did.
When?
I'm going to tell, too. I'm going to tell what I've been accused of and what I've been the victim of. Okay?
Exactly.
Okay. Number 1, fulfilling unmet relationship needs. Okay? Sometimes a person is cheating because there are some unmet needs in their relationship. Sometimes it can be a difference in a person and their partner's sexual appetite, difference in sex drive. Okay. And so when a person feels like they're not getting enough sex at home, they can be at risk of straying. So this is one of the reasons. Now, when you find yourself in a position like this, you always want to rule out medical causes for the decreased sex drive. Okay. And so, you know, because women and men can have medical things that go on that can affect sexual performance.
That's true.
And so,
more men than women. That's what they need to be worried about when they hit their late 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Yeah, and sometimes, because I have seen male clients who are just sick. Like, they're not, it's not low testosterone and this and that.
But sometimes that goes into the diabetes, the high blood pressure.
Diabetes. Those are medical diagnoses that are directly linked to, you know, erectile dysfunction and things like that. But I have also seen couples where the man was just sick, period. Like, you know, battling stomach issues or battling a cancer or something, and just is like, I'm literally too sick to have sex with this woman, and she's losing it. She's like, just, if you just lay there, just let me climb on top. And he's like, I can't have you riding on. You can't be.
You gotta get on
okay,
top.
hold on. I almost did like the beat.
You just did. You just did.
And so
Speaking of unspeakable.
I always feel bad for couples that are in that position because the person who is ill is like, you have got to be kidding me that you do not care that I am sick. I'm nauseous. I'm 2 seconds from vomiting all over you, but you want to take your chances. And I'm going to explain why as we get further down this list, what causes that to be an issue. Okay. And so, unmet relationship needs. Another thing that I have seen that falls up under unmet relationship needs is I have had people who their cheating is with someone of the same sex. They're married to someone of the opposite sex.
We didn't hit on that before.
We've hit on that before, and I've noticed an increase
of
men who are hurt and complaining that their women are cheating with other women. And sometimes what the women will do is make the mistake of thinking, because it's almost a myth that this is every man's fantasy. And so the mistake that a lot of women make is, well, if I offer to him to join us, maybe he'll chill. But a lot of men are like, I married you. I don't want to share you with a man or a woman. And they kind of know, like, even if I was willing to do that, you think I'm not going to notice that it's really about you and her?
That was on P Valley the other week. You watch P Valley?
I have no idea what that is.
Okay.
But that's what the man ended up a bystander.
Yeah, he got really upset because the two women were just really going at it. And he was like, hold on. And one was his wife. And he got up and was like, hold on.
Yes.
Hello.
I have seen couples present with that in therapy. Like, no, this was not the three of us having a good time. This turned in, y'all dang near kicked me out the bed.
Yes.
And them two heifers get to going
Get to going at it.
And so a lot of men are like, no, I'm not falling for that.
Especially if you're not married and in a real relationship. I think that'll be something if it's just, once again, the casual dating, something that's casual. But no, because I wouldn't want to share my husband with another woman either. I wouldn't want to do that.
Right. Okay, number 2, revenge sex. I think
you did me, now I'm going to do you.
I have seen this more so with women than with men. Not that men wouldn't, because I'm sure they would. But when I have seen this, what the wife has oftentimes said is, I got so tired of him cheating on me, I decided I had tried everything else. So I figured, well, let me cheat on this fool to teach him a lesson.
With a brother, a uncle, a best friend, or his daddy.
To cut deep, yes. To cut deep, sometimes it is with a family member. And yes, one woman, she had sex with her husband's cousin. It was revenge sex. Okay, so
but we as women, we have to always keep our dignity and self-respect. That's how I look at it.
Well, that means try to avoid all these in any type of cheating for any reason. Okay. Number 3, I'm not really going into how all of these would be addressed in therapy to try to heal the relationship, because that's a whole nother show. We just providing psychoeducation right now.
Right.
Okay, sex addictions. This is more common with men. The one I talked about a minute ago, revenge sex, is more common with women. Sex addictions more common with men. And the problem is, if the person, male or female, has a sex addiction and the other person does not have the sex drive to keep up with it. So earlier when I was talking about, like, the man who is sick, literally he's like ill and unable to perform, if his wife has a sex addiction, she is going to be at greater risk of cheating because she is craving it.
And he needs to do something. He need to get Bob out the bedstand.
something.
Something. The professor looking at me. You have to do something. You have to do something.
Because, like, it's an addiction.
Yes.
Okay. Self-medicating with sex. Now, these are people who, for example, can be struggling with depression, and they are having sex, releasing all those positive hormones, endorphins. They can engage in sex as a way of self-medicating the depression, because sex is going to be more fun than Zoloft or Prozac. And so that is something that takes place also, is the whole self-medicating piece. Okay. Next one, what are we up to? Number 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5, hypersexuality due to bipolar disorder. And what I'm talking about is manic episodes. Some people, not everyone with bipolar disorder struggles with this, but some people with bipolar disorder during manic episodes experience hypersexuality. And during episodes of mania where they are having hypersexuality, they will, like, they have got to have it.
The Energizer Bunny.
They will
keep going and going and
they'll
going.
screw anything moving or ride anything that's sitting still long enough.
There you go again. You talking about the ride.
Yeah. We've got to stop that. And so that example, once again, about, like, if the person is unable to perform because of sickness or whatever, and you have someone who has hypersexuality, now it occurs in episodes. So they will not be hypersexual 24/7, and they may only have a manic episode once every month or two, but when they do, that hypersexuality kicks in. Now, I once saw a sex offender who only committed sex offenses when he was having manic episodes with hypersexuality. And he didn't even know any of this at the time because he was a kid. And so in seeing him and doing the assessment and diagnosing him with bipolar disorder and explaining the manic episodes and explaining the hypersexuality, that psychoeducation resulted in him being able to just let us know, like, it's happening, it's happening. And he would experience anxiety, and he would be literally kind of crying out for help, like, because the hypersexuality. The problem was, and he was going to an alternative school. This was an adolescent. And in the alternative school, they'll have kids of all ages in that building. Okay?
I used to be a principal of one from kindergarten to 12th grade.
Oh, that's right. Yes, so you know. And what would end up happening is he would end up getting himself kicked out of his classroom and sent to a buddy spot in a room that had little girls in it. They caught him with a little girl in the cubicle under the desk performing oral sex on him. She's like 8 or 9 or something.
She was doing it on him?
He molested a kid in school during a manic episode with hypersexuality, and his response was, I tried to control it, I tried to stop. And so our problem with the school is because we had alerted, me and the foster parent, you know who the foster parents, a mutual friend of ours, we won't say who it is, but we had alerted the school, like, listen, he's taking meds, so he's being medicated for this. He's in therapy for this.
So he needs to be watched. It's almost like a one-on-one.
Yes. They should have had him on one-to-ones, and they didn't.
And then, absolutely. I'm going to tell you another reason why the school was wrong, and this is only because I was a principal. He should have had behavior sheets, and they should have been able to see it happening, and that would have instructed them to have that one-on-one. Oh, he's doing good. We seeing it starting to happen. And that was most definitely, the school should have been hotline.
They were liable in that instance.
Yes.
And here's my thing. If you know that a kid is a sex offender, and you know,
and his buddy room is where,
why would you send him into a room with elementary school kids? And my thought was, were they dumb enough to think, well, they're elementary school kids, he's not going to commit a sex crime against them?
Them the ones that they They need to be educated. Okay, I just
Right.
got really upset. Let's move on to another subject, please.
Yeah, this was ridiculous. And so let me tell you, bipolar disorder with hypersexuality is very real. It is not a common symptom. I have not found that most people who have bipolar disorder during manic episodes experience hypersexuality. But for those who do, if you are married to someone like that, the expectation is that you keep up with that sex drive when they become manic, because if you can't keep up, yes, they will be at risk for cheating. Okay. And then number 6, a need for variety and change. Okay. Now, some people say that this is normal. Some people would say that it's genetic. But there are even animals who commit to one partner for the rest of their lives. Most birds, a bird is in love with a bird. They're monogamous.
Really?
Yeah, some people say animals do it and we're basically animals. That is not true. That is not true. There are many, many species of animals who commit to one partner and remain faithful to one partner. So that's not an excuse.
It's not an excuse.
But the whole variety thing, and what that stems from, is some people cannot imagine. Let's say they get married at 25. When they start thinking about living to be 85 and having sex with the same person for 60 years, they cannot imagine that. They're like, I have to have variety, like I have to. Now, there is a way that this is treated in therapy also, but as I said, we'll cover all of that, how to treat all of these
in another show.
In another show. But I just want you all, our viewers, to know that there is treatment for all of these. Okay? So, if you are in a relationship, or if you've been in a relationship and cheating has taken place, and because a lot of times people think relationships cannot heal from cheating, that's not necessarily true. Now, something to note
That is true. That's
is
not
that
true.
your chances for success are far greater with a person who has an isolated incident of cheating as opposed to a person who is a chronic cheater.
And what do chronic means?
Chronic cheater is somebody who cheats again and
And
again
again
and
and
again,
again
and then
and
they
again.
cheated on previous partners before you. They're gonna cheat on people
They're gonna
after
cheat on
you.
you before, after, and in between.
That is the prognosis in those situations is just really, really poor. Like, you're not likely to change that in a person who is a chronic cheater. But a person who is like, you know, our relationship, we've been struggling, we've been having a rough time lately, and we haven't been emotionally intimate, we haven't been sexually intimate, and then, you know, I worked closely with this woman and we became friends, and da-da-da-da. Next thing you know, somebody's riding somebody.
He's riding again.
Those are isolated incidents, and healing from that is far greater. When it comes to chronic cheaters, the goal is to try not to end up in a relationship with somebody who is a chronic cheater and thinking that you're going to change that, because you do not have the magic powers to change that.
Only prayer can do it.
A lot of prayer, but prayer only works if the other person is also praying and wanting
it. Exactly.
to be ridden of that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so D, on this list, which ones have you been the victim of? Have you been, you've already talked about this on the show. What type of cheater do you have experience with?
I think the last one. Yeah.
The variety, the need for change. Yeah.
No, I don't think the chronic one.
That's the chronic cheater.
That's the chronic cheater, yeah.
Yeah. Well, any of these can be chronic, but their
Right.
underlying reason, you're saying that
I don't think it was change. I think we sort of missed one. I think we have another one.
What is
I think what did we do? Have what was it? 7, 6.
We got 6.
We got 6. Okay.
What do you think?
The D is
missing?
adding number 7. Take
is it?
note. Is that their wife or partner is so over the top that do not make them feel like they really that man. So they have to go and date under to make them feel like they still that man.
That falls under number 1, problems in the relationship.
You think so?
That's insecurity.
Okay, that's insecurities. Okay.
And this is very common.
I think I was
with
number
our
1.
with our professional women or women who make
Yeah.
a lot of money.
Yeah.
When they date someone who makes less money than them or is less educated than them or has less power than them.
Or it's even just if their mate is just so known. And see, and that comes a problem because I have never been a hunter. I'm always the prey. So you come and you hunt for me.
Coming for the D.
Coming for the D. And then when you see that the D is da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, then you feel less than. But you still want the D, but you want some others. They're insecure, yeah.
Because women in your position, please pay attention to this. Because I know that we have an audience of
women,
professional
Hey,
women who make a good living, who watch and listen to our show. You have to date men who are very, very secure within themselves, especially if they make less money than you.
But they come off as being secure. That's the only reason why you are attracted to them too.
It's fake.
It's fake.
You have to be able to, what you want to do is date them long enough to get to their true self. Because yes,
90 days.
Initially, a person's going to present themselves as who they think you want them to be. And that may not be who they actually are. And they will present as if they don't have a problem with it, but then they do.
They really do.
Because a friend of ours found herself in that position.
Yes.
Initially, the man was like, well, I'm cool with your
cool
nice
with that.
crib. I'm cool
Yeah.
that you got 2-3 luxury cars.
Yeah.
Like, can I ride in them? Can I drive them? But then fast forward months into the relationship, well, I'm not coming over that much because, I just don't feel comfortable there because that's your spot.
That's your
and
spot. That's your
It's
house.
like, but
it's in your
you
name.
said you was okay with this.
So why did you waste my time?
And at that point, the woman has fallen in love. So she ends up getting sucked into this dynamic and trying to figure out how to make him feel secure without her having to give up all her crap. Because she's going to give up all her crap.
I'm not giving up my stuff.
She's like, no, I'm not going to give up my money or my house or my cars. Let's try to help you be more secure. But here's the thing. You can't make another person more secure. That's internal work that they have to do on their own. Now, we have talked about doing things that levels the playing field, so we don't need to cover that again.
No.
And the D will level the playing field as long as you pay the mortgage. Now, I still
pay
say
the mortgage.
But the problem is the D's mortgage, she wants it to be at
I've been in my house so long, my mortgage is less than $1,000.
What is that place downtown? Don't play
Light 2. I want to go to Light 2. I do want to go to the Light 2. And I got years because I want to retire at Light. I plan on retiring in the next 2 or 3 years. So most definitely I want to go to Light 2 because I'm semi-retired now.
As the professor said, what about women who, just paid a mortgage and the mortgage is outrageous, like at Light 2?
Well,
or Light 1.
Right now, it's going between, I couldn't see paying it, but like $1,800 a month on mortgages now. Easily.
In Light 2?
No, it was a little bit more, not too much more. Not too much more.
I know them mortgages in Light 2 are probably
it all depends on what floor you on. I just need to be in the middle.
You're saying they have affordable cribs in
Yes, they do.
Light 1 and Light 2?
Yeah, I think $2,200 a month is affordable. What you think?
I think they're more than that at Light 1 and 2.
I've been there. I got the paperwork. It all depends on what floor you're on.
Are we talking about a studio?
It depends on what floor you're on.
She's talking about a studio apartment that ain't even got no bedroom. Okay, it's a kitchen and a living room.
All in together.
That's what they would charge $2,200 for. A full size apartment.
It's a little bit more.
Condo, the size of like a house.
Mm-hmm. And see, now that would be a little bit different because when you're there, you do not have a water bill and you do not have a gas bill. Everything's electric. So, because I do the house bills. So that would be different. So we would I'll give more money on that.
What's the home association dues at Light 1 and Light 2?
Okay, can we get back to the...
Right.
Can we just get back back
and let me tell you all why I asked that. Because I'm a former condo owner, and my home association dues were $500 a month. And that didn't include the parking spot.
No.
I had to pay another $50, $75 a month for the parking spot.
That done went up because it's covered parking. And I have to at least have four lots.
And it was covered parking. That was for one spot. The other, they only allowed one spot. They was like, any other car you got to park it on the street.
Oh,
really,
no.
on the plaza, there's nowhere to park a car on the street on the plaza. $500 a month, which, yes, it covered landscaping,
nice amenities,
a guest apartment, which my guests never used. When my guests came to visit, they was like, why would we stay in the guest apartment? We visiting you. We staying here with you. A pool, crap that I didn't use.
You didn't never use the pool, the gym?
I didn't use.
How
I was working.
How about taking your trash, put your trash out, open the door, put your trash out, and they come pick up your trash?
That is not worth $500 a month.
They'll come and get Dream and take Dream to the groomers.
People
and
do not buy a
I have
condo.
concierge service. And I will have a concierge. I love that.
So those home association dues in Light 1 are at least $500 a month. That on top of your mortgage. So this goes back to what the professor was saying.
We don't even talk about the professor. He be messing up.
You are not leveling the playing field.
I just said if we move to Light 1, Light 2, I would help with the mortgage. I really would help with the mortgage.
Okay.
Because a lot of our other expenses is going down. Because then, the grass man, I have to do the grass man.
Okay, here's a question. Did it work when you were dating a man who you made more than him and you attempted to level the playing field by have him just pay the mortgage? Did that work, or did he remain insecure? He remained insecure, didn't he?
He still
and he kept chasing other hoes out there because of his insecurities.
Well, it's only been one that I've been in that depth with.
So that brings the question, can you even level the playing field? The true solution is for a person to deal with their insecurities.
There's nothing that I could do.
You
It's
can't
him.
fix insecurity
fix
in
it.
another person.
No matter what you do, not even with us going into business together, not even me come on, babe, we need to have a business meeting. So what do you think about this and that? It never helped with anything. That was his own insecurities, and he had to deal with that on his own. Even though we used to didn't have that problem when he was a big boss.
Well, yeah.
We didn't have that problem.
But then you decided to start making money.
No, he found out that I was making money.
Oh, you had kept it a secret.
It was a secret.
That's another show.
I do know. And I'm glad the professor said that's another show. Yeah, because I do have female clients who have secret bank accounts that their spouses do not know about because they don't think he can handle how much money is in that damn account.
He can't handle it. Literally, and it's really odd because he actually paid for my schooling. He helped me pay for my master's. So I guess he never had in his mind because he still gave me an allowance.
Right.
He paid the house note. He paid my car note.
And here you
because
he had no
idea I was making that type of money. He never had any idea until I decided to come clean.
He should not have felt so insecure if he helped pay for your graduate school education.
I tell him that all the time. I tell him that all the
He
time.
helped you be in a position
He helped me be where I'm
to
at.
make.
I give
So-
all homage to him.
So why?
It was him.
Yeah, that's odd
Making
that
sure I had a
he-
good car, making sure he was paying my babysitters to make sure I could go to school. Because mind you, I was still working a full-time job. Got to kick it with JP.
We kicked it.
And I was going to school at night. Literally, I was going to school. I wasn't getting out of school to 10. And at the time, my children was still in school. I think
Right.
my youngest was probably in middle school. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, was probably in middle school. So he literally would pay for a babysitter to take them to all their after school things that they had going on with school after they had to get out of school, football, basketball, dance, piano. He made sure that happened.
These were unwarranted insecurities.
Mm-hmm.
But it goes back to a person needing to get to the root of where are these
He
insecurities
likes
coming
to
from.
feel needed.
But he was needed.
He was needed. And I tried to make him feel like he was still needed. But when he looked at the money part of it, I didn't need you for money. I needed you for security.
Right. But
I need you emotionally.
yeah. And so you
Spiritually.
figured if I present to him that although I don't need him financially,
Financially.
I need him on an emotional
A
level.
whole nother better level.
That should be
whole nother
enough.
better level.
But it ultimately was not enough.
It was not enough.
He needed to be totally
Financially,
needed.
Totally needed.
Financially, emotionally,
The
everything.
whole circle. The whole circle.
And here's something to think about. No one should really be careful about being in a relationship where the person's love for you and commitment to you is based upon you needing them.
Right.
Because essentially they have to be in a superior position in order for them to truly commit and love you on the level that you need to be. And that's unhealthy, that you have to subdue yourself or be in a needy position in order to have a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That's
and guess what,
awful.
y'all? He cheated then too. he cheated then too. He cheated then too. So, I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, here is once
Ooh,
I felt like I was being cheated on, and because we're starting
Only
with
one
which
time?
ones I never caught anybody cheating.
But you never caught anyone cheated. But you
I never
thought
caught
this
anybody
one
cheating.
was.
Well, here's the reason why I think I never caught anyone cheated and do not suspect that I was cheated on is because I always, as a single person, I always made it clear I am not giving any second chances on cheating. If you cheat on me, we're done for good, forever.
Can we even be friends?
I am walking away. We ain't you don't know
can't even
me
be
and I don't
friends?
know you.
Wow.
And so upon entering relationships, I would always have that conversation, and I meant it, because when I'm done, I'm done. And I think that is what prevented me from being cheated on.
I think
and
they
didn't
cheated. You
police-
just didn't know.
Well, I don't agree, because anything that's done in the dark comes
It'll
to the
come
light.
to light. It might
I
come
don't
to
know a
light.
single cheater that ain't got caught. Eventually, they all get caught. If you out there thinking you gonna hide cheating for the rest of your life in a relationship,
Oh, you sure can't hide it now with all the
you a damn
internet and social media. It'll all
Right.
come out. Everybody's always trying to take me and my boo.
right. And so I never looked for it. I never policed anyone. I just made it clear: if you cheat, I'm done. There's no second chances. I think that is the reason why I didn't really have that problem. But once, and I walked away. I believe in that instance, the cheating was due to the need for variety and change. I think I think that's what it was due to. Now, do we have enough time? We got enough time. The next question is, which ones have we been accused of or been guilty of? Now, for me, this is what happened. Years ago, as a college student, I was in a long-term relationship.
I remember that.
Yeah, because should remember her from high school. Okay. Okay. We're going to talk about your sorrow right now. Well,
Don't
yeah,
do
we
it.
are. But this is what happened. We would get into fights almost every day. And she would break up with me like every day or two. And so one day she had came over to cuss me out. She called me the regular amount of MFs, dirty bastard, all of that. And what I said to her as she was leaving my apartment, I said, don't do this time. Don't do this. I'm through with you, mother. I said, no. Really, we're done for good if you do. Because I was like, I'm tired of, like, for years you've been dumping me every 2 days. I'm through. She left.
Emotional roller coaster.
She slammed that door. She slammed that door so hard, all my alpha pair fell to the floor. I said, oh, this heifer made my pair fall on the floor. I said, no, she didn't.
Oh,
and let me tell
Lord.
you, that night,
That was it.
I had somebody else up in that apartment.
Such a hoe. Can we
Well,
say hoe?
I had been faithful, but, you know, I always had options. You're going to have options on a college campus, especially if you're in a fraternity. You're going to have options.
Mm-hmm.
And so later, and I believe to this day, she still accuses me of cheating. And I told her, no, I told you we were done. Now, what ended up happening is when she calmed down and I calmed down, we continued to interact.
But I wasn't
we
in a real
continued to have
relationship.
interactions, but I was not in a committed relationship with her. And that was my point is, no, we are continuing to have interactions, but we're not back together.
We're
I
not
meant
back
it that
together.
day.
Yeah.
And so the other young lady ended up cutting things off with me because we were at a party and she saw me with my ex and said, oh, you went back to her. And I explained to her, I ain't with you or her.
We just kicking it.
I'm kicking it with both of you. I'm
And
not in a
maybe,
committed
and
relationship.
knowing JP, maybe a couple of more.
Well, so she was done. And I was like, fine, you're done. But I never cheated. I have not cheated. If someone was to round up all my exes, she's the only one that would say I cheated, and I would immediately say, no, the hell I didn't.
Well, I remember when I was a youngster and I was going to church. I was going to this one church, Church of God in Christ, and we were actually talking about cheating, and the pastor said, until you say I do, it's technically not cheating.
D,
You just getting to know someone.
did that give you permission to do all sorts of things?
So therefore, until I say I do,
D,
and I do
you
want
are
to say that
guilty.
I have never been I have never been guilty of cheating on neither one of my husbands. But I'm not married to you. I can do what I want to do. We're not living together. We're not paying bills together. Your name
So
on
it
nothing
wasn't
of mine.
cheating.
So it wasn't cheating. I was just doing what I want to do.
Okay.
I'm
we
young,
have
black,
less
and
than
in
a minute.
America.
We have less than 1 minute. I'm going to say this. I don't agree with that preacher's definition. If somebody is your boyfriend
If we're not living
or your
together, stay what I
girlfriend,
do.
y'all committed, although there are some people who never get married.
And they crazy because you're gonna marry me.
And they live together. They are
I'm not
common
doing.
law.
I'm not doing that.
That's cheating.
I'm not doing that. I'm not living with no man. If we're not finna get married in the next 6 months, we ask any of my friends. They don't never remember me living with no man or no man living with me. Number one, wasn't no man gonna live with me because I had children and daughters.
Right. Right.
But no, I have never. Any man that I have lived with, they were my husband. Or 6 months later, we were getting married. I just don't believe in that. You're not getting this whole cow. I'm not gonna be cooking and cleaning up behind you.
And you ain't put a ring on.
And you ain't putting a ring. And it needs to be at least a carat and a half.
Okay, D, C, we're back to men feeling insecure because you make more money than them. That's pressure if he can't afford that. Now, that's our
They
show
have
for
credit
today.
cards.
We done ran over. D, you wrong for that. Credit cards.
Credit
That's
cards.
our show. Run your credit up.
Because you at least need to have a 710 to ride this ride.
Oh, right. Okay. That's our show for today. We're going to have to continue
710 credit score at least.
We're going to have to continue. How he going to have a 710 credit score if you making him run his credit up buying one and a half
Just one
carry
time. Just one time. and we're not going to no Hellsburg.
All right.
Okay.
That's we running late because the professor's adding stuff at the end of the show.
Do we have any comments?
That
Okay.
is our show for today. Thank you all for joining us. And remember, worry about nothing.
And pray about everything.
Thank you and God bless.
Bye-bye now.